Durable powers of attorney. We're going to talk about it specifically here today at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. And I want you to think about this. You have a large IRA or TSP through a savings plan, 401k or 403b. What happens to your spouse or your significant others if you are incapacitated? Not if you die, but if you are incapacitated. That's what we're going to talk about, and how the durable power of attorney is something you need to be looking at. So welcome to Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, my friends, the place where you come to learn all the basics and not so basic stuff when it comes to financial planning. So if you like what you see here, don't forget to subscribe down below. Comments are always welcome, so I absolutely put comments here too. So I talked to a guy, one of my subscribers, who actually does website development, and I'm interested in using him because my website is incredibly slow, and I think it's the host that I use. So long story short, it turns out he's a web developer, and he told me, he said, "Man, your site loads too slowly." And I said, "Yeah, I know, that's a problem." And we just got to chatting, and he's telling me some of his stuff. And he goes, "Hey, I want you to let you know I bought your book, Strategic Money Planning," which you can see back here. And while a lot of it's not for him, because I think he's older, he's something like 60, 65 or something like that. The thing on durable power of attorneys was very important to him. This book is more geared towards younger couples, say in the 20s and 30s, even in your 40s, with families that just starting out and stuff. And obviously, if you're 65, it's probably not you. But there is a chapter, the last chapter, chapter 8, where we talk about durable powers of attorney and guardianship. And that was a chapter that's important to him. And so that's why I want to do this video, because I talk about estate planning in the totality, and I want to focus just a short video on durable power of attorney. It's probably the most important document that gets overlooked. And so let me dive right into this. And so here's my book, Strategic Money chapter. Let's see, that is chapter 8, and I'll show you right here. Durable power of attorney and guardianships. And I use an example of Brenda and Kevin, how Brenda is working at a job, Kevin's in school, and Brenda's been able to squirrel away some money. But then coming home from work, she gets in a car crash and she's laid up in the hospital and she doesn't know who she is. So the question is, how does Kevin get access to her cash? All right. And that's the question. Brenda's not dead. She's fine. She's not in her head. She's incapacitated. I mean, she doesn't know who she is. Any kind of trauma you can think of, but Kevin's got bills coming in, because don't forget, well, you wouldn't know unless you read the book, but essentially Brenda and Kevin are living paycheck to paycheck. All right. So now Brenda isn't working anymore because she's laid up in the hospital. Yeah, she does have long-term disability, but long-term disability doesn't cover 100% of your previous salary. It's usually about 65%. So if she was making $100,000 before, she's only getting $65,000 now. If they were living a paycheck to paycheck before, 65 ain't gonna get the job done, my friends. And so Kevin's sitting there thinking he's got these bills floating at him fast and furious, because just because you have health insurance doesn't mean you don't get hit with huge co-insurance, co-pays, and deductibles, the whole thing. Never mind, you still got health insurance premiums to pay. So Kevin's like, we got no money. We haven't saved anything. And the crux of the book is that they put all their money into a home, trying to achieve the American dream. And I'm not going to get to that here today, but that's not something I recommend necessarily. But anyway, that was the crux of the book. Why are they in this predicament as it is? Because they have no liquidity, no excess cash, because everything is in their home. Was a house poor, if that makes sense. So anyway, so Brenda's in the hospital. She doesn't know who she is. Kevin says, I need to get money from this because I got to pay these bills that are coming as fast and furious. I'm going to have to take a distribution from her IRA, 401k, because Kevin's, is going to school. I mean, he was not working, but he was a student, college student, taking care of the kids in the day and going to school at night. And Kevin or Brenda would work during the day and take care of the kids at night. And I have a feeling that's a lot of folks out there just like that. Now, Brenda has some money. They need access to it, and they can't get it because they have no ability for Kevin to act on Brenda's behalf. Now, you can say all day, trust me, I've heard this a million times. You can say all day long, you can say till you're blue in the face, well, I am her spouse. It doesn't matter. It's her money. A 401k and IRA stands for individual retirement arrangement. Actually, it's not account, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's individual. That's the operative word there. Individual. It's not your money, Kevin. It's her money. And so any custodian, the folks who, let me just bring this back up. Any custodian Kevin are there to manage your money on your behalf, to hold it and to protect it, are not just going to give the money to Kevin. They're not going to do that. And the reason is because it's not his. It's not his. Now, he can go down to the court and get an order. How long is that going to take? How much does it cost? Does he even know where to start? Does he got to get an attorney? It's this idea, and I get this all the time, that it will be okay. Or I hear all the time, well, I'm the beneficiary. That's only if Brenda dies. If Brenda's still alive, which in this case she is, Kevin's got no say in the matter. You can go down there all day long with a stack of doctor bill that far and go tell your custodian, Vanguard or Schwab or whomever, say, look, I got these bills. I need the money. They aren't going to give you the money. And the reason being is because they can say, we don't know that, you can give us a marriage certificate. That doesn't mean anything. It's still her money. Now, you got to get a court order and we'll approve of that, but that's going to take some days too. So the issue of this, the whole point about this book, this chapter of this book in this video, is that you need a durable power of attorney, a durable power of attorney. As I said many times on these episodes on this video channel, you're probably sick of it. Durable means it survives incapacity. It survives incapacity. Now, what I don't want you to have, I'm going to show with you right here, I don't want you to have this. All right. Now, I'm not an attorney, so all you attorneys out there saying I'm practicing law. No, I'm not. I'm just telling people what they should be looking at not to have. I don't write this stuff up. Here's one you don't want. Principal shall be deemed to be incapacitated if at any time two physicians certify in writing that principal has become physically or mentally incapacitated and is unable to manage principal's affairs in principal's best interest. I don't know why attorneys can't just talk in plain English. My goodness, talk about a run-on sentence. Whether or not I can't tell if that's it looks like a period. But even if it's not, it's even worse. This is 4 lines of one sentence. Whether or not a court of competent jurisdiction has declared principal incompetent, mentally ill, or need conservation, or in need of a conservator. Now, I've seen that letter, that languaging almost identical, if not identical to that, a million times to Sunday. Let me just go back to it. Principal, that's Brenda in this case, shall be deemed to be incapacitated if at any time not one but two physicians certify in writing that the principal has become physically or mentally incapacitated. Now, think about you're the doctor here. And here comes old Kevin. Hey, doc, my wife is incapacitated. I need you to validate that she is so I can have access to her money. Kevin, the doc doesn't know you. First of all, the doc's rushed. The doc is worried about being sued all the time. Just think about it from his or her perspective. He's like, I don't know about that big guy. I mean, he might, and he probably would ultimately, but you want to have Kevin have to go through that hoop, not just one time, but with 2 doctors who maybe not even know who Brenda is to begin with. They might not be the attending physician. I mean, there's so many what ifs in this regard. And by default, it seems, at least in Tennessee, maybe in California, that's where my guy shared with me his durable power of attorney, which is one I just read to you, almost verbatim, the language for Tennessee and California. The ones in Georgia that I've seen, that doesn't mean all of them haven't been like that, thankfully, but you got to look at yours. At the end of the day, you talk to your attorney, let your attorney dictate what you should have. For me, if I'm in a good relationship with my spouse, which thankfully I am, in fact, tomorrow is a big 19, I don't want it to be limited for any capacity. I want my wife to have access to my money whenever she wants because it's her money just as much as mine. Now, you might be different. I'm not arguing that. But we don't want a durable power of attorney that you have to jump through 2 hoops to get to when the situation is crucial that you have access to the cash. We just don't want that to happen. And so that's the first mistake in financial planning is a lack of documentation to allow your significant other, be it your brother, be it your spouse, I don't care who it is, but somebody to act on your behalf financially if you're incapacitated. And that I cannot tell you how many people have not done this correctly. They either don't have it or they have a general power of attorney, which stops at incapacity, or they have a springing power of attorney, which becomes effective at incapacity. But again, we got to validate what incapacity is. And that usually means you got to get a doc or 2 to sign off. You don't want that. Now you might, I'll leave that up to you, but we want you to have a durable power of attorney today. And we want you to make it very clear that you understand the ramifications of the limitations, if any, that you're putting on there. Now, the counter to that is, well, if you don't put a limitation on there, and your spouse goes crazy, starts doing bad stuff, and he or she can drain you of your account. That's true. That's a fact. So proceed with caution. I'll let you be the judge of that. But for me, if I'm in a car crash and my wife needs access to my 401k or IRA, she needs to have access to it as lickety split with minimal problems as possible right out of the gate. So that's a durable power of attorney. That's part of this book right here. And just as a shameless plug for this book, I'll just read you the chapter. I'm not going to read the chapters verbatim. 1, debt is the enemy. 2, renting versus owning. I show you that renting is not that bad of a deal. Shh. Everyone says you have to own for the American dream. No, you don't. I'll tell you why you want to rent in particularly. 3, beware of the great schools trap. The great schools is a bugaboo of mine. Not great schools, the website. I mean, that's the website we're talking about. Not them necessarily. They're not doing bad things, but the idea that I got to spend all this money to get my kids in a great school. Ugh. 4, variable rate mortgages are fine. Variable rate mortgages are fine. 5, you should borrow from your 401k to pay down debt. I model all this stuff out. It's not just me yapping here. 6, reliable transportation without breaking the bank, i.e., it's okay to lease. All these people say leasing's stupid. No, they don't know what they're talking about. 7, don't rely on your employer for life insurance. And then 8, durable power of attorney. All those things are mistakes I made. That's why I wrote the book, so you can avoid them. All right, so don't forget to subscribe down below. Comments, always helpful. Comments, please, comments. That helps me a lot. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up as well. If you like the channel, and you want to tell other people about it, by all means, share the episodes for sure. Go to heritagewealthplanning.com, heritagewealthplanning.com for the blog and the podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.